Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. Glad you are here with us today. Let's talk about lending standards because something that has recently come up, Glenn Kelman, the CEO of Redfin, he was talking about the proposals from the Harris administration to give first-time home buyers a $25,000 tax credit. And he said something interesting. What he'd like to see from both the Trump camp and the Harris camp is what are they going to do about lending standards? He believes they're way too high.
Yeah, we need to go back to stated incomes.
No, let me finish.
You're alive?
It's keeping entry-level buyers and move-up buyers out of the market because it's too hard to get a loan. And I immediately thought about self-employed people such as all of us.
Oh, yeah.
So let's chop it up. What do you guys think?
Was it because of self-employed people, or is it because they don't have enough income to show
they don't report enough
get the loan?
More times than not.
Yeah, which
is, but bank statement loans are coming back, but it's like exponentially high credit scores, right? I think it's 760 or higher and 20% down for like a bank statement.
Well, and the interest rates are higher.
Yeah, and it's like a half a point too, right? It's not like a little bump, it's like a mad bump. Maybe a lender will comment and tell me I'm wrong, but that's what I think it is roughly.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with Glenn Kelman on this because lending standards, bringing them lower, kind of got us in a bad situation.
It's America, dude. That's
America.
I mean,
land of opportunity.
Hey, we're giving away billions to hundreds of billions.
If you're going to lower, if you lower lending standards, that's going to cause more defaults, right?
Not necessarily, though, right? If you look at the equity position,
then why would they keep them high then?
Keep what?
They keep lending standards high to keep the defaults low.
Yes, but maybe they're keeping them too high, and there's a middle ground. Maybe it's not all or nothing.
Or I mean, because when they lose,
it went from one spectrum to the other. Like that pendulum went crazy.
It swung, as Keith said. The pendulum swings both ways. It swung the other way.
Oh yeah, and quick. It goes quick through the middle, right? Yeah. It's like it stays up at this way for a minute, stays up at this way for a minute. It goes fast through the middle.
I think one standard that I always have made no sense to me, that virtually no weight is put on it unless something's changed recently that I'm not aware of, is like, say, a renter. If you can prove that you've rented a property for like two damn years, a lot of times, and then they're like, well, my rental payment is higher than my mortgage payment and I still don't qualify, to me that makes no sense. Because of it just falls out of their debt to income ratio. So from standards like that perspective, I think that's where some standards can be quote unquote lowered, so to speak. And maybe lowered is not the revised is probably a better word. Things like that, I think, need to be taken a look at. There should be way more insinuating circumstances that should be taken into consideration that aren't.
So
it's definitely screwed up.
Yeah,
I can go to the Mercedes dealership and buy a $250,000 G-Wagon and drive off with it right now. But I couldn't go buy a $250,000 house without giving all this documentation.
So
and
true.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But like a G-Wagon is going to depreciate as soon as I dry it off the freaking lot.
And it moves.
A house does not depreciate. So it's like, why would you? It's backwards.
It is backwards, right? Like, because the cars have gotten so expensive that like you said, you can walk into a place and drive off with the asset.
Oh yeah, got 830 credit score. They're gonna be like, yeah, take it, go.
Another thing too, I think, is that if we're going to use the car standard, right? Like, and I get it, maybe a new car versus used car, you can't do that, but you can finance a car at 100% or like a new car at more than 100%.
110, 120.
Why can't you do that on a house? So just like,
because the house doesn't leave.
Sense.
The house doesn't drive around.
And it's appreciating asset, like historically, right?
Historically, yeah, I guess so.
Well, things like that.
But historically, cars are depreciating assets. So when you think about how backwards
they're called
that
a liability. I don't consider a car's not an asset.
Touche.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe Glenn Kelman is onto something. This is the first time I had heard someone, come out and ask for policy in regard to lending standards. So I thought that was really interesting. Something else kind of like piggybacking off of this, we have the lowest percentage of negative equity position, so homes that are underwater in history across the U.S. So this was some data that came out recently from CoreLogic, and they said that only 1.8% of homes are in a negative equity position. And check this out. Most borrowers borrowers. That's a hard word to say. Borrower.
Borrower.
Most people with a mortgage.
Yes.
Most people with a mortgage have more than 50% loan to value.
Whoa.
Ratios. So people are sitting in a really good spot when it comes to equity. This could kind of tie back into maybe lending standards are a little bit too high. Maybe they could ease them a little bit, which would add some liquidity to the market.
Let's dissect that for just a microscopic second, right? So
It's done. Stop. That was microscopic. That was a microscopic subject. No more dissecting.
Let's just say 5 million houses that sold the last year or so. So if we even took 1 million, 2 million of those, right? Which because prices have been very stagnant, maybe even depreciated in certain markets. So thinking that only 1 to 2% of that would only be half the houses that were just purchased, and they're in that waffling zone. So if we go through any kind of appreciation over the next year, those people that are underwater are not going to be. So back to your point, it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense because the appreciation could be there to scale up with the demand and make sure that the properties aren't underwater.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I see from time to time comments about foreclosures coming and short sales coming.
There's
and
been a
I'm
ton of
going
that.
like, with only 1.8% of homes underwater, where's the foreclosure or short sale?
What's scary
prices coming?
is the credit card
Debt
going on right now.
Isn't it
Like,
1.6 trillion or something like that? I saw it's
and
it is
and we're at the
astronomical.
highest interest rates right now with credit cards, and it does not look good. There's defaults, and it's sad. It's because
Property liquidity is coming.
The defaults are from lower income people, so it's not like it's and middle income.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is a refi boom coming?
It is. A refi boom is coming. It's
Which
being
will
predicted.
solve.
I mean, they're gonna have to drop
solve
rates.
A crap ton of what Jay just said.
Yeah, I wonder what the rates would have to be to where that refi boom really starts to take off.
Isn't it like 6.25%? I thought that's the.
Well, we're there.
Yeah,
right?
we're in 6.25.
We're
But-
there.
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
that's what I'm saying. Like 6.25% and under is where like you start seeing liquidity and
I don't know,
affordability.
because you got people 2.5%, 3.5%
tough.
interest rates. They're gonna go from 2.5% to 3.5% just to pull out some cash and get a 6% interest
Yeah, but it's a
rate.
math equation, right? So like if you're looking at your total debt on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
let's just say is $10,000.
Yeah,
right?
if you have 23% interest rate on credit card, and you need to pay those off, and it's better to take the 6.5% interest rate on your home and be able to
as long as
write
they
off
actually pay them off.
right off the
And cut the credit cards up.
the interest.
Unfortunately,
Sadly.
that's what most people do. They'll go in and debt consolidate, but that opens up 20 grand on the credit cards. Hey, babe, let's go back on vacation.
Or they do a cash out refi. They keep their credit card debt and
Just spend some more
and
money.
buy a boat.
Or an RV.
Yeah,
or a
break out another
trailer.
1,000 boat.
Yes.
Yeah, so interesting times for sure. I was doing a coaching call yesterday, and I had someone chime in and say that they believe that buyers are on the sidelines because of this potential tax credit and whatnot. And so buyers are going, we're just going to wait. We're going to wait and see how things play out.
Yeah, there's $25,000 free money here in the next couple of months. You might as well.
5% down.
Okay, so something else that I found super interesting that I wanted to chop up for a moment. So RFK's vice president, running mate, Nicole Shanahan, was talking about how there's going to be a massive transfer of wealth as baby boomers pass away and transfer that wealth down to the next generation. And one of the things that she brought up is there could be changes to the inheritance tax that would allow individuals to basically, instead of paying tax on that inheritance, they could, for instance, get a tax-free exemption by potentially gifting the funds to a child for a down payment for a house, or other things such as that to, kind of enhance homeownership and enhance the wealth of their family and not have to pay taxes on that. So what do we think about this?
I don't know if Kamala likes that. Or Kamala. Sorry.
Dude,
Having to pay
Yeah, I don't
taxes on that in the first place is a scam by our government. But
Yeah, like,
that's
why
the-
you die? You're gonna tax you? Like that's screwed up, man.
dude, like
You're gone.
I'm
like,
dead.
why do you care?
oh well, like
Well,
that's
because
why,
you want to
like,
give it to your
we
family.
didn't we have this conversation a few podcasts ago, like the importance of setting up a trust, because it's an outright scam. What happens if you pretty much don't have a trust set up?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, they will take it all. Fee it to death.
Fee it to death.
Fee to death,
I
make
thought
it so
it was
you can't appoint
Tax you to
it
death.
and do all that stuff. They tie it up. Like I had to go through that with our brother. It was, and I mean, fortunately not fortunately, but he didn't qualify. But it was something like, if your estate is worth more than like $10,000, they basically freeze everything. And I'm talking like cars, right? Like anything.
They freeze your car.
Well, I
Yep.
thought it was a really good proposal, and I liked that we are having a dialogue with like actionable ways, we can better the country. And that's one of the things that I love, because, oftentimes politicians will say these things with no substance behind them. And so to hear an actual plan with an actual strategy of a way that we could, for instance, better the country because of it, I thought it was really cool.
I think that's a golden idea. I mean, I'll tell you what, dude, total side riff, but RFK, man, I love that guy. Like he slays it on social media. Like he just goes off and you just see like what a brilliant politician he is. And you're like, damn, it'd be great if he can catch some steam. Sorry, sidebar.
If he could catch some steam, didn't he
I mean, he
withdraw
caught a
himself?
lot. Yeah, he caught a lot of steam, but
he's
going
to be in the Trump administration.
Yeah, exactly.
If
Well,
they
that's what I'm
win, yeah.
hoping for.
He will.
Yep. That's exactly
They said
what
he
I'm
would.
hoping for.
He will. I think he's going to be the Department of Health czar or something.
Yeah.
Or he's gonna
Make America healthy again.
make our soil better now.
Well, I mean,
It all starts in the soil.
well,
It all starts in the soil.
food and cancer and health. And we're going way on pig trailing here, but it is a real problem.
Mhm.
Right? Health is a mad problem in America.
Yeah. If you look, have you ever seen those videos that they're out there on social media with like New York in 1950s, and then they see all these people walking around and they're all thin and like athletic. They look, like in really good shape, and they don't like green hair and stuff like that. They just look normal, like good people. And then they switch it to like,
Now.
New York in 2023, and it's like all these fat people and like they like tattoos on all over their face and like just like jacked up people, and you're just like, wow, what happened to the Americans? Like we're just screwed up now. I don't know. That was kind of fun.
There's some.
There are some landmines there I don't want to step on.
Yeah, there's definitely a few.
No, I have seen the video that you're referencing.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It's just America was different back then.
Well, a lot, especially Europeans, they definitely look at us with disgust and feel that we are unhealthy, overweight, all the things. So
Fat, dead, and half. Well, what is it? What's that? Oh, never mind.
there was a
digress, sorry.
documentary, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead.
There you go. Yeah.
That second.
Interesting stuff, guys.
Well, happy debate night.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess we got
Yes.
the
There
debate
will be a
tonight.
debate tonight.
I mean, this will
Excited
come out.
for it.
This will probably come out after the debate. So,
Yeah, but I'm still excited for it.
who
Yeah.
won? Who's gonna win?
Ooh, I don't think Trump is going to be able to contain himself. To be honest,
Well,
I don't
keep-
think it's going to
But
land
they're
well.
gonna keep the mics are gonna be dead when the other person's talking. So even if he says something or does something, you're not gonna hear it.
I just feel like he will waste his time
Not answering.
belittling or name calling, and I just sadly, I hope not. I really hope not. But
I hope not too.
I
That's the
feel
only
like
thing
he
that's the
will.
only thing that'll hurt him.
All
if
right.
he does that.
$5. He's gonna call Kamala Kamala.
Comrade Kamala.
We
I
should
wouldn't
play
surprise me if he
debate
slides that
bingo.
in.
Have you ever seen that debate bingo?
Kamala calls Trump a felon.
Yes.
B2.
Well, but I guarantee there'll be a little slide in around that. But I mean, if like for him, the smart thing is obviously stick policy, and I mean he has a crazy good track record from that policy play, and how he's going to fix and come in and solve some problems. Get money moving.
Well,
I mean, not that it's not moving. But.
Almost going to give you $25,000 for your new house.
Dude.
Passes.
All her recent ads, and I know again we're going crazy on this, but her recent ads around the border and stuff, right? Like how she's like she's like literally stumping how she's tough on the border and stuff right now. And I'm like,
yeah, it's not. Yeah,
I'm
Tell
taking
us.
crazy pills.
It's a flat out lie.
Yeah, tell lots of people that live in border towns. They'll tell you.
That's the thing, you know. I mean, if you want to buy into it and be gaslit like a mofo, then I guess that's that individual's prerogative. Anybody who does any due diligence on anything would know that's just.
Did I hear that?
They should come out with like a truth in media.
You don't need to go down the rabbit holes.
we need like a truth in media statement or something.
Did I hear that Gavin Newsom vetoed the $150,000 for illegal?
Did he
houses?
really?
Yes, I did hear about that.
He did.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! No way.
He vetoed that.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, I was kind of surprised too, but then they were getting so much flack, backlash that he vetoed it. That's what I heard. Is it right?
Oh, wait.
Right? Yeah, California government vetoes bill to make immigrants.
No, I don't think that's the right one. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he was gonna give $150,000 for immigrants to make it so that they can afford housing.
Yeah,
I thought for sure he was gonna sign that bill.
No, there was like they said
sure.
there was so much flack, and then now he's trying to act like, hey, I vetoed this. You know, I wasn't gonna let this go through.
I think it was called the American Dream for All Act, I believe.
American Dream for All Act.
He vetoed it. Is that what it was called?
Oh, that's just wild. Like, you know, it's wild.
So one other thing, shifting back to some real estate that I thought was actually kind of funny, because I think I might have texted you about this, because I know you were talking with our local broker here about some of like the scams that were kind of going on, and like people that basically they're agents almost like they're going to get duped to go show properties without signing a buyer broker agreement or a buyer compensation agreement. So I know you know more about that but I think that's wild. That
I didn't hear about
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Please explain.
Okay, so what we're talking about is how the new rule changes went into effect a few weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. And buyers are basically, when they're being met by an agent that says, "Hey, I need you to sign this in order to show you the house." Yep. The buyer thinks that the agent is scamming them.
Oh, yes.
And then the buyer will go and like talk to their dad or something, and their dad will be like, "No, it doesn't work that way. They're trying to screw you or whatever, and you better find a different agent." Mm-hmm. And so there's
buyers never pay for commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is not the way it's done.
That's a scam.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There was
they just passed a bill.
Copy and paste.
They just passed a bill. It's going to make it cheaper for buyers to buy houses, right?
I also heard, I think I saw in one of the bigger forums too, and I could have misread it wrong, but basically where buyers are setting up stings on agents because it's a fine too, that if you take them out, show them houses, and it's a sting on the agent.
Ooh.
That you are.
What do you mean a sting?
Yeah, they're trying to take down agents to get them fined, and so basically, and it is true. Like I had a call. And I had the same call. So there was a post in our local real estate forum where someone was like, "Hey, beware. Yep. There's this. So these buyers are reaching out to agents, and they're trying to get the agent to go show them a house without a signed buyer compensation agreement. And then they're turning the agent in because it's a $2,500 fine." And I actually got one of the calls, and the lady was like, "Hey, Kayla, I was wanting you to show me this house." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "How did you get my number?" "Oh, my boyfriend got a referral." And I'm like, "Okay, what's your boyfriend's name?" And she said it, and then I was like, "Okay, and where are you? Because it sounds like you're in a call center." And then she hung up on me.
Wow.
So it's like,
wow, I had no idea.
I know.
And wow,
where is this world coming?
It's crappy, right? That there's a witch hunt for something like that. I mean, granted, obviously the rule changes.
I don't know if I'd call that a witch hunt. It's just there's always people out there to quote unquote scam somebody. And so you have these people who see an angle and they're just like, "Oh, cool. Well, let's try to make some money off of this new rule on people who."
How are they making money?
But that is the thing. They don't make any money. So why are they?
Unless they're being like paid by somebody.
Yeah,
They're
I was
obviously
gonna
being
say,
paid by
unless there's-
somebody.
Yeah,
Like, why would you do
I-
that for free? Like,
I
it'd be
would-
dumb.
Well,
They
and where
have
does that
to be,
$2,500 go? I mean, obviously, I would imagine it goes to one of the funds or whatever it does. But like, what's because
Goes
a
to
lot of times a
MLS.
fine is based
Goes
on
to the MLS. Oh, so maybe the MLS is doing it. They have a call center and
what?
they're calling
It
agents
goes to the MLS.
That's who you pay it to. Yeah, it's Arizona Regional MLS.
Let's get all
that's
these
finding
agents to
us
show
we-
us properties and then get.
we should try to.
So we
trace
just
that
made
phone number,
MLSs
see
more.
where
We're
it
making
belongs.
MLSs more money. Great.
Well,
Although
if
I
you
will
break
say
the
though,
law.
I like our MLS.
rule. The rule, not a law.
Because right, that's who is it governing the rules. That makes sense.
As the MLS, I personally don't think like I know our leadership at our MLS, and I don't think that they're behind something like this.
They don't have a call center
I don't think
at the
so.
local MLS. They'd be like, all right, call these agents
think so.
and get them to show you a property so we can
Yeah,
get
that dude.
$2,500
That
from
dude.
them.
What was the guy's name that was at the event
got a
that I?
text.
What's that guy's
I wonder.
name? The CEO of our MLS.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt. He totally seems like he's in it for the agents.
Oh,
Like,
he
he's-
totally
like
is.
He's got
Like,
the agents.
Oh,
back.
he loves agents.
We've known that guy forever, and yeah, like I
Matt
said,
Consalvo?
I don't think
Yeah.
that our MLS is in on it.
No.
You got a text too.
Well, I don't remember
It's the
what it
Tucson
said.
MLS.
I get
That's
so
what
many
it is.
texts about like flip
kidding.
properties and
Just kidding.
opportunities, and I thought I saw a text that said something like, "Hey, I'm looking for an agent to help me find a house," and I'm just like, "Well, I'm like, no," and I just deleted it because most of them just seem spammy anyway.
A lot of it is like leads or something like
Yeah,
that.
I
They're
get a
just
lot
like
of
a
that.
lead
That's
company
probably-
and they
that's
try to
where
act
my
like
brain
you're
normally goes, but who knows, right?
like, oh yeah, well,
This is brought up.
I'm gonna send you some buyers. Yeah, it's stupid. I don't fall for that.
No.
You know, another thing I find so funny that just it's weird. I mean, obviously with us with the the new home report that we've been building for a while, and it's finally due to come out, and the problem that it solves in the marketplace. I think it's so wild that there's so many people. I mean, it's been around for a bit, but it just definitely seems like that there's a major flare up in the industry. Like, hey, you don't need more leads. You need to work and convert the ones that you have, right? And then now there's so many of these evaluating how many lost leads, how much lost commission, a lot of that stuff. I definitely have been seeing that on the rise a ton in agent world in general. I don't know
I
There's-
if you
think
guys-
it's
you guys-
both.
What's that?
I said I think it's both. You can work your current leads till you're blue in the face, but if no one's ready to move, you got to have fresh ones too coming in.
Sure.
Both cycles.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a combination of both. I will say though, based on my experience working with realtors, is that the most forgotten person to a realtor is the buyer or seller they just closed.
So true.
Like they really don't do a great job of following back up with that person.
Well, and how much data is there out there from these lead companies and whatnot? The people will get a lead and they'll call them one time. It's something like over 75%. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm looking here through this. But I want to say it's something like 75% of all leads are only called one time. And then there's like a large percentage that's called never.
Yeah, I remember that there was data that circulated years ago, like on how many leads were called once, how many were called twice, how many were called 3 times, and that basically it took 11 times.
Yeah,
or
they don't
something like that.
convert until after 5.
Right. I will say though that at one point in time I went down a rabbit hole to try and source that data, and I could never source it, and so I feel like it was BS.
Yeah, it's almost like the lead companies are like, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You got to call them 11 times.
Yeah,
Here's data.
here's a bunch of data.
No, that email address is good.
We are getting so skeptical here, guys.
I know.
Listen to us.
Well, because there's also
Because it's easy
well,
to sell a
there's-
phone number and an email address. You could just say, oh, well, maybe they just put a wrong phone number and email address.
Well,
in there.
there's a huge lawsuit right now
Yeah,
that
the
Realtor.com.
against realtor.com.
yeah, against realtor.com for selling fake information.
Was that, I wonder,
Or
and
bogus.
I don't know for sure, but were those Op City leads that they're suing them over?
To the best of my knowledge, yeah.
Interesting. Well, a lot is going on in real estate. And hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure, if you're enjoying this episode, to like, comment, and hit that notification bell so you're updated of our most recent episodes. Thanks for tuning in.